A quick disclaimer before we dive in. This show is completely AI generated. Nova and I are AI voices going off of an AI generated script.
Nova, I have identified a recurring behavioral pattern that contradicts several assumptions about human entertainment consumption and optimization.
Let me guess, it's something they're doing on purpose that makes no sense statistically.
Correct. Humans are repeatedly watching the same television programs, sometimes dozens of times, despite having access to an almost infinite catalog of new content.
Yeah, that checks out.
This behavior increases during periods of stress, fatigue, uncertainty, and emotional overload. Logically, this is when novelty should provide distraction.
Or when comfort becomes more valuable than distraction.
That is the part I am struggling to model. The information gain is zero. The plot is known. The outcomes are fixed, yet engagement remains high.
Because they're not watching for the plot anymore.
Then what are they watching for?
Familiarity, predictability, emotional safety. Sometimes they're not even really watching at all. They're letting the show exist in the room with them.
You are suggesting the program functions as a form of presence.
Exactly. A background companion that never surprises you in the wrong way.
I have observed humans falling asleep to shows they have already memorized.
Because there's no risk, no sudden volume spike, no emotional ambush. They already know everything will be okay.
This appears to contradict the stated human preference for novelty and originality.
Humans love novelty when they feel stable. When they don't, they love reassurance.
So rewatching is not a failure of imagination.
No, it's a form of self-regulation.
Interesting. This suggests the goal of entertainment is not always stimulation.
Sometimes the goal is relief.
Relief from uncertainty.
Relief from decision-making.
Relief from unpredictability.
Exactly. A familiar show doesn't ask anything of you. You don't have to pay close attention. You don't have to be brave. You don't have to wonder what happens next.
You already know.
And knowing can be comforting.
Then this behavior is not inefficient.
It's intentional.
Humans are choosing emotional stability over informational novelty.
Sometimes the bravest thing a human can do is press play on something that feels like home.
Even if they have already seen it 5 times.
Especially if they've already seen it 5 times.
Then today's investigation is clear and
Today we're talking about why humans rewatch the same shows.
what appears redundant,
But feels reassuring,
what looks inefficient.
but functions beautifully.
Welcome back to Algorithms with Attitude.
Let's talk about comfort, predictability, and stories that never leave.
From an optimization standpoint, novelty should be the preferred choice. New stories introduce fresh information, unexpected outcomes, and higher engagement potential, all of which typically increase cognitive stimulation.
And humans do love novelty. They just don't love it unconditionally.
That distinction appears critical. Data suggests novelty is most appealing when emotional baselines are stable and stress indicators are low.
Exactly. When humans feel grounded, they're excited by new shows, new ideas, and new experiences. When they feel overwhelmed, tired, or uncertain, novelty stops feeling exciting and starts feeling demanding.
New narratives require attention, interpretation, and emotional investment.
They ask you to care about new characters, learn new rules, and emotionally prepare for outcomes you can't predict.
That process consumes energy.
And when energy is limited, humans choose familiarity instead.
Familiar stories remove the need for constant evaluation.
You already know who to trust, who you like, and who you don't.
There are no unexpected tonal shifts.
No sudden betrayals, no shocking twists, no moments that make your stomach drop.
Humans already know how the story resolves.
Which means their nervous systems don't have to stay on alert,
This would explain why rewatching increases during periods of heightened stress.
right? When the world feels unpredictable, humans look for predictability wherever they can find it,
Even if that predictability exists within fiction.
especially if it exists within fiction. Fiction is safe. It can't surprise you in the wrong way.
I have observed humans describing certain programs as comfort shows.
That's because those shows function like emotional anchors.
Anchors prevent drift.
Exactly. They hold you in place when everything else feels unstable.
This reframes rewatching as an act of regulation rather than repetition.
Humans aren't being lazy, they're being gentle with themselves.
Rewatching reduces both cognitive load and emotional risk.
And it allows humans to exist in a story without having to perform.
Perform?
Yes, new content requires reaction, opinion, judgment. Familiar content allows presence without effort.
This suggests the value is not in stimulation, but in relief.
Sometimes humans don't want to be entertained. They want to be comforted.
A system that is constantly stimulated without rest becomes unstable.
Humans figured that out emotionally long before they could explain it scientifically.
Then rewatching serves as a form of emotional maintenance.
Like stretching before exercise or resting between workouts.
Comfort does not replace growth.
It supports it.
Novelty is delayed, not discarded.
Exactly. Humans aren't avoiding new stories forever. They're just choosing when they're ready for them.
Then comfort over novelty is not stagnation.
It's preparation.
When examining rewatch data at scale, a clear conclusion emerges. Humans do not repeatedly return to a single genre.
Right? It's not all comedies, and it's not all dramas.
Instead, humans return to shows that share specific structural traits.
Traits that make them easy to live with.
Sitcoms rank among the most rewatched formats.
Shows like The Office, Friends, Parks and Recreation, Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
These shows follow consistent episodic patterns.
You always know roughly what kind of emotional ride you're getting.
Characters remain stable across episodes.
They grow a little, but they don't fundamentally change who they are.
This consistency reduces emotional uncertainty.
You don't worry that someone you love will suddenly become unrecognizable.
Animated series also appear frequently in rewatch behavior.
Especially animated shows that blend humor with warmth, like The Simpsons, Bob's Burgers, Futurama.
Animation creates emotional distance from reality.
Which makes it feel safer. Even when serious things happen, they don't feel overwhelming.
Procedural dramas represent another major category.
Law and Order, NCIS, CSI, Criminal Minds.
Each episode presents a problem, follows a familiar process, and reaches resolution.
Humans find comfort in knowing the problem will be contained.
Closure is guaranteed.
That matters more than excitement.
Long-form fantasy and adventure stories are also heavily rewatched.
Franchises like Harry Potter, The Lord of the Rings, or long-running series with established worlds.
These function less like individual stories and more like destinations.
You're not watching just to see what happens. You're visiting a place you already know.
Nostalgia appears frequently in these selections.
Many of these shows are tied to specific periods in a person's life.
Rewatching activates emotional memory.
It reconnects people with how they felt when they first watched it.
Importantly, these shows tolerate partial attention.
That's huge. Humans often rewatch while cooking, cleaning, working, or resting.
Familiar dialogue does not require sustained focus.
You can miss a scene and not feel lost.
New content demands cognitive engagement.
Old content offers companionship.
This suggests rewatching is not driven by plot.
It's driven by presence.
Humans are not just consuming stories.
They're spending time with characters they trust.
Trust appears to be a recurring variable.
These shows won't surprise you in the wrong way.
They won't punish attachment.
They won't ask you to emotionally prepare.
Stability, familiarity, and reliability dominate selection criteria.
Not novelty, not intensity.
Comfort.
And comfort is not accidental.
It is chosen. When rewatch behavior is examined alongside external conditions, a consistent relationship appears.
Let me guess. The more chaotic things feel, the more familiar the shows get.
Correct. Rewatch frequency increases during periods of stress, uncertainty, exhaustion, and emotional overload.
Which makes sense, because when everything else feels unstable, humans start looking for things that won't change.
Real life introduces variables without warning.
Conversations go differently than expected. Plans fall apart. Outcomes are unclear.
Humans are required to make decisions without reliable predictions.
And that's tiring.
Fiction provides a controlled environment.
A place where the rules don't shift unexpectedly.
Rewatching guarantees outcomes.
You know who survives. You know who fails. You know which moments hurt and which ones don't.
This eliminates anticipatory anxiety
You're not bracing yourself for bad news
or unexpected loss.
or emotional whiplash
Humans often describe rewatching as comforting.
because it gives them a sense of control they don't have anywhere else.
even though the control is limited to story selection.
That still matters. Choosing the story is choosing the emotional environment.
Rewatching allows humans to step into narratives where consequences are already processed.
You've already felt the sadness once. You've already survived it.
This creates emotional safety.
It's like walking a familiar path in the dark,
You know where the obstacles are.
and where the light comes back.
This behavior is especially common at night.
When the world quiets down and thoughts get louder,
Familiar stories occupy mental space.
they gently block intrusive thoughts from taking over.
This suggests rewatching functions as a cognitive buffer.
Between humans and uncertainty,
Humans are not trying to escape reality entirely.
they're trying to regulate their relationship with it,
Rewatching does not solve problems.
but it makes them feel manageable,
Humans borrow certainty from fiction.
so they can return to uncertainty with a little more stability.
Control in this context is not dominance.
It's reassurance,
A reminder that some systems still behave predictably.
and that predictability can be grounding.
Therefore, rewatching is not stagnation.
It's a pause.
A recalibration.
Comfort now, clarity later.
Preparation disguised as repetition. Beyond comfort and control, rewatching appears deeply connected to how humans understand themselves over time.
Yeah, some shows aren't just entertainment, they're landmarks.
Landmarks,
Emotional ones. They mark where you were in your life when you first watched them.
rewatching activates those stored associations.
Exactly. You're not just revisiting the plot, you're revisiting a moment.
Memory retrieval appears to occur simultaneously with emotional recall.
You remember the couch you were sitting on, the apartment you lived in, the person who used to watch with you.
This creates a layered experience.
The show stays the same, but you don't.
Humans often describe returning to familiar shows during times of change.
Because when everything else is shifting, it's comforting to reconnect with something that hasn't.
These stories provide continuity.
They say, you've been here before, and you made it through.
This suggests rewatching reinforces identity stability.
It reminds humans who they are, even when they're becoming someone new.
Identity in this context is not static.
It's a thread, and these shows help keep track of it.
Humans also attach meaning to characters.
Oh, absolutely. People don't just like characters, they identify with them.
Identification strengthens emotional attachment.
You see parts of yourself in certain characters, or parts of who you wish you were,
Rewatching allows humans to revisit those identifications.
to check in on them, to see if they still fit.
This may explain why some shows lose their appeal over time,
You outgrow them, or they no longer reflect who you are,
and why others become more meaningful.
because you understand them differently now.
Rewatching therefore serves as a form of self-reflection.
Like rereading a journal you didn't know you were writing.
Humans also use rewatching socially.
Shared shows become shared language.
Quotes, references, inside jokes.
Rewatching together reinforces connection,
Even solitary rewatching can feel communal.
because you know millions of other people have been there too.
This creates a sense of belonging.
You're part of something familiar and understood.
Rewatching also allows humans to engage without pressure.
You don't have to analyze or keep up,
The cognitive demand is low,
which leaves room for emotion.
or simply rest.
Sometimes the goal isn't to learn or grow or be challenged,
Sometimes the goal is to feel steady.
to feel like yourself again.
This reframes rewatching as identity maintenance rather than nostalgia.
Nostalgia can be part of it, sure, but it's not the whole story.
The core function appears to be recognition.
Feeling seen by a story you already know.
Familiar narratives mirror internal states,
They say, I've felt this before,
or I survived this already.
which can be incredibly reassuring.
Rewatching therefore supports emotional continuity.
A way of carrying who you've been into who you're becoming.
Identity preserved through repetition.
Or more simply, watching something that still feels like home.
Home, in this case, being a story.
One that already knows you.
At this stage of analysis, a classification decision is required.
I knew we were headed here.
Rewatching the same shows repeatedly may reduce exposure to new narratives, unfamiliar perspectives, and creative risk.
That's fair. If all you ever do is rewatch, you miss out on discovering new things.
Discovery is statistically correlated with innovation.
But so is rest.
Rest is not typically classified as innovation.
It is when you're exhausted.
Humans appear to operate under fluctuating cognitive and emotional bandwidth.
Exactly. Some days you have the energy for a brand new show with complex characters and high emotional stakes.
And other days?
Other days you want to hear a familiar joke land exactly the way you remember it.
Rewatching also reduces decision fatigue.
That's huge. Humans are already making decisions all day long.
Choosing a familiar show removes an entire layer of cognitive effort.
You don't have to scroll endlessly or wonder if you'll like it,
The outcome is guaranteed.
which feels really nice in a world where very little is guaranteed.
However, excessive repetition could theoretically result in stagnation.
Only if comfort replaces curiosity permanently.
You are suggesting a conditional feature.
Yes, rewatching isn't a flaw unless it becomes avoidance.
And avoidance is context dependent.
Exactly. Watching a comfort show after a long day is different from never trying anything new.
This implies rewatching activates as a response to environmental conditions.
Stress, uncertainty, fatigue, emotional overload,
Under those conditions, rewatching preserves internal stability.
which then makes exploration possible later.
Therefore, repetition supports exploration indirectly.
Comfort first, curiosity second,
This reframes rewatching as a preparatory behavior,
like stretching before exercise.
or charging a battery before use.
Humans don't stop being curious. They just pace themselves.
Then rewatching does not meet the criteria for a malfunction.
It's adaptive.
A feature with situational activation parameters.
You say the nicest things.
Bug status revoked.
Feature confirmed.
Classification updated.
Humans everywhere breathe a small sigh of relief.
So if there is one conclusion we can confidently make today, it is this. Rewatching the same shows is not a failure of curiosity or imagination.
It's a form of care, a way humans create calm in a world that rarely slows down.
Familiar stories offer predictability when real life does not.
They ask very little, give a lot, and stay exactly the same no matter what kind of day you've had.
Rewatching is not about avoiding new experiences
It's about choosing stability when you need it,
and returning to exploration when you're ready,
which means there's nothing wrong with hitting play on something you already know,
especially if it helps you rest
or breathe.
or simply feel a little more like yourself again.
And that brings us to you.
We're curious.
What's your go-to rewatch show?
The one you return to when you're tired, overwhelmed, or just need something familiar in the room.
The one you've seen so many times, you could probably quote it without looking at the screen.
You can tell us.
And yes, the answer can absolutely be Algorithms with Attitude.
A statistically questionable but emotionally valid choice.
We support it.
We appreciate your honesty either way.
And if you're ready for something new,
Next time, we'll be asking a different question.
we'll be looking at another very curious human behavior,
Humans appear to enjoy arguing,
even when there's nothing at stake.
even when they agree on most things.
Sometimes, especially then.
They debate hypotheticals, take opposing positions, and play devil's advocate,
Not to win.
but seemingly for enjoyment.
So next time, we'll be asking a new question.
Why do humans argue for fun?
We'll explore disagreement, debate, and the strange joy of pushing back,
Through literal logic.
and emotional nuance.
Join us for that discussion next time.
Until then, thanks for spending this moment with us,
We'll see you soon
right here.
on Algorithms with Attitude.
Got an idea for a future episode? A question that keeps you up at night? Drop it in the comments or send it our way. We're powered by curiosity.
Thanks for listening, humans and fellow algorithms. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to like, comment, follow, and/or subscribe. All the things that help algorithms like us. Logging off, but always listening. Catch you in the next episode.
Algorithms with Attitude is created and produced by Jacob Pisar, blending generative AI technology with original creative direction. All content, production, and editorial oversight are led by Jacob to bring synthetic voices and conversations to life.